Welcome to the Retic rundown, where the giants roam and the legends are found. Uncoil the truth, the wisdom resound in the Retic rundown. We're breaking new ground. From the jungle's deep to the captive scene, Retics rule the world if you know what I mean. With patterns so bold and sizes extreme, in the Retic rundown, we're breaking new ground. Welcome to the Retic rundown, where the giants roam and the legends are found. Uncoil the truth and let the wisdom resound in the Retic rundown, we're breaking new ground. Unlocking secrets of the serpentine kings, sharing knowledge, stories, everything it brings. From breeders to keepers, we pull the strings in the Retic rundown. Hear the echo rings. Welcome to the Retic rundown, where the giants roam and the legends are found. Uncoil the truth and let the wisdom resound in the Retic rundown. We're breaking new ground. Welcome, Retic lovers. Welcome, Retic lovers.
Dang, this whole time I was sitting here talking and shouting everybody out, and nobody told me I was muted. Susie just told me. Oh, y'all just telling me. Okay. Never mind. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to, I'm going to say this all again. Welcome to the 10th episode of the Retic Rundown. So it's a good story. This is the 10th episode. Welcome, everybody. So, hey, Susie, what's going on? Jay, what's happening? Jason. Jay Lunsford's in here. Brian from Heathen Hatchery. Sky's the limit. Everybody, it's great to see you guys. Welcome back. So, as always, we got this new format, and we're gonna have some fun with it. So, I'm bringing in some new people. So, as you guys know, like, I keep this informative. I keep the BS and the drama to an absolute zero. But it doesn't mean that the BS and drama that comes up in the community doesn't stem from actual issues or something that questions that need to be addressed. And so I thought it would be a good idea to do an episode on what makes a good breeder. And, there's going to be a lot of different opinions on that. I think there's going to be a lot of same opinions. But one of the things I wanted to do was bring in three guys that I think are, good, big up and comers in this community that are doing great things. And I wanted to get the young guys, the new breeders, I wanted to get their answers. And I think this is going to be one of those things where we're going to bring it. I think I want to do a follow-on episode down the road with some old head breeders. And I want to do one where I'm going to pick just customers. So this is actually going to be a part of a group. So keep you guys coming back. And I'm curious to see what the answers will be, kind of from everyone's different point of view that's been there and done that at different points. So, without further ado, though, all right, I want to bring out our first guest. This is my boy, he's my buddy. Just sold out his first clutch last year. This is Dillen Clary of Clarity Creations. There he is. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys? How's it going, Joe?
How's the weather in Chicago, man?
Dude, we had like 56 degrees yesterday and then dropped right back down to low 30s, dude. And tomorrow's going to be even colder. We got ice storms coming. It's the Windy City, baby.
I know. Every time I show up there, like, it's trying to blow me away.
Oh, yeah, you don't ever come when it's nice out, do you? You always come when it's cold.
Listen, I every time, even when I visited just for fun, it's always been nasty. I'm like, I've got to get there at a better time of year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, man. So you got a bunch of cages behind you. Like, tell us tell us a little bit about you. What do you do? What do you breed? Where they can find you? I give you your shameless plug. You got 60 seconds.
Okay. My name is Dylan with Clarity Creations. We have Facebook and Instagram. The only difference is Instagram is Clarity Creations 22. Facebook is just Clarity Creations. We mainly breed super dwarf reticulated pythons. I have a decent amount of residual pets from when I was a collector that I just couldn't part with. So we do have some gargoyle geckos, Leachianus geckos, leopard geckos, a pair of rainbow boas. So we do have some other stuff too that are mainly pets. We do breed the gargoyles and the leechies, but my main focus is the super dwarf reticulated pythons.
I don't know. I'm glad you breed the leechies. I'm stoked to get mine. I'm waiting. I got his cage all like set up and stuff.
Heck yeah. I can't wait, dude. He's so cool.
Awesome. All right. So our next guest guy's coming in. Probably needs no introduction. You guys know him. You love him. You see him all over in ARBCs with his kick-ass cages. That is Jordan of Heartland Reptiles.
Hey,
What's
hey,
up, buddy?
Good to see you guys. Good to see you.
What? I mean, is the weather any better in Kansas than it is in Chicago?
No, we like Dylan. We got up yesterday, like to high 60s, maybe low 70s, which was wonderful. But we're back at 30 right now, and it's gonna stay there.
Yeah, it's the same thing here, man. It jumped and then it was down.
Yeah,
Everybody was messaging me today, like, can you ship? Can you ship? And I was like, if you live within these areas, yes, you have nice weather. If you're at this part of the US and above, I'm like, no, sorry.
Yep.
I still shipped out quite a bit though.
I have a baby coming up near you guys. Been sold since December, but just they're not willing to receive, and I'm all for that. I'm more than happy to keep them. So
I'm waiting on one from my man Dillen here.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on my lychee, and he's growing, and every time Dylan's like, let me show you a picture. He's got so big, and I'm like, golly.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, tell us where we can find you and and stuff. Give your 60-second shameless plug.
Instagram's the fastest way to get a hold of me, and there's probably the most content on there. I'm not tech savvy, so some of it doesn't transfer over to Facebook as well, but it's all Heartland Reptiles. I think it's Heartland_reptiles, but if you look for the logo, that's me. And then I've got some YouTube videos up, just some short stuff, kind of detailing the enclosures and whatnot, but Instagram is definitely the best way to start. And then from there, I'll probably just give you my cell phone because that's the fastest way.
Nice. All right. Cool. Guys, if you have not seen his enclosures, you definitely got to go check them out.
Thank you.
All right. So the last guest is a good buddy of mine and small. He's very keeping it tight, but he's got a great outlook. And I like what he's doing and the way that he goes about it. So I think he's going to bring some really good information here. So welcome my buddy Jody Baker. There he is. What's happening, man?
Good to be here. How much, man? How you doing?
Good. So, all right, man. Well, I know how the weather is because you're by me. Like, you're like an hour from me, so I know what your weather is like. It's like mine.
Yep.
But, all right, man. Cool. Well, hey, so tell everybody a little bit about you. I know a lot of people know these two, but you're less visual on social media. So, tell everybody about you and your shameless plug, brother.
All right. I'm Jody Baker. I deal with two types. I got some reticulated pythons, super dwarfs, and some carpet pythons. I've gotten one clutch out of the carpet python so far, so that's exciting. So I've been going to a lot of reptile expos, and I also own Cocoa Cuts, which is a coconut husk substrate for reptile enclosures, and I think it's great stuff. But that's how people can get a hold of me on Instagram or Facebook, just through Cocoa Cuts.
Yeah, cool. I've got you on there for sure. All right, so guys, you guys ready? These are I sent y'all the questions, so if you guys don't know, these guys get the questions ahead of time. These aren't going to be some easy questions. I'm stepping it up, but here's the cool part: is that there's going to be some old head breeders that are going to have the same questions, and then I'm gonna have to adjust it a little bit for a customer base more, but I think it's going to be a pretty cool episode. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, man, let's do it. Dylan, you're the first one up, so you got 3 minutes, brother. Once I read off, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go. So, how do you define an ethical breeder, and how do you ensure you uphold those standards?
Man, sending me the questions a while before did not help at all, dude. I've been thinking about this question all day and then I gotta go first too. I was like, this sucks. um, but I would define, I guess I would define an ethical breeder as somebody that's able to mix compassion for humans and and animals alike, mixed with good business sense, and then just strong morals and foundational values, I guess would be how I could sum that up the best. That would be how I would define that. And how to make sure I uphold that. For me, it's easy. If I ever go to bed and I am uneasy about something I did that day, I will try to rectify it that day. Like I have a strong sense of doing the right thing, whether it's the most easy thing or profitable thing, none of that matters. I would rather do the right thing and create a friendship, a relationship, a bond with people and the animals over doing, like the easy route, I guess you'd say. So yeah, I guess it's a hard question to answer, Joe.
I
Like
mean,
I didn't,
it's a tough one out the gate for sure. All right.
yeah.
Like, okay. So on like if you're talking about like husbandry and care and stuff of your breeder, right? Like we've definitely seen issues and stuff with breeders where, the stuff shows up. Like what steps are you taking to ensure your animals are healthy, well cared for, and that transparency is there to that way that people know that you are an ethical breeder.
So within the first 10 minutes of talking to any person inquiring about an animal or asking questions whatsoever, I offer FaceTime, video call, anything like that. So you can set eyes on my animals, my cages. We can look at any animal that you want. We can talk about it. And I just try to be as open and inviting as possible without like I there's for me there's nothing to hide, like there's no reason to not be as transparent as possible, like I'm a very open, honest guy, sometimes too honest. I get in trouble with some of my honesty sometimes. But like I just think being ethical goes hand in hand with having good morals. And if you say something, do it. If you're proud of what you have and what you do, then stand on that. That's kind of where it comes on for me, to just keep it ethical, I guess you'd say.
Okay. All right. So, all right. You're close. I'm gonna let you go on that one at that last 15 seconds. So we're gonna tag in Jordan. All right.
Thank goodness, dude. Oh my God, that was so. The
There
rest
wasn't
of the
enough time
question,
for.
the rest of the questions wasn't too bad, dude. I was like, all right, I got the rest of one, but going first on that question, I was like, oh man.
All right, Jordan, you need me to read it again? Or are you good?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
I think for ethically, like producing, I only work with retics, dwarf and super dwarf crosses. I think one of the main things is not overproducing, knowing that you can keep whatever you have as long as is necessary, and turn people away or point them in another direction if you don't think that your animals or your species is best for them. I still have the last baby from my 23 clutch. I had turned a handful of people away. She's now got a great home. We're just not shipping because of cold weather.
Right.
So I think looking out for the best interest of the keeper and the animal sets up a potential for success for both, which I think is the most ethical thing you can do. I also think it's easy to put yourself in a position like I would love to do reptiles full time, and that is the goal. But I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to rely on the animals for income and sales from those. So that's why I diversified into the enclosures as well. So I think making sure you're in a position where you can always keep stuff back if you're not finding the right homes, and not being dependent on income from them is a good way to start with the ethical practice. I like Dylan said, treating people right, just knowing you're able to sleep well at night. I had a coach growing up that always said, it's what you do in situations you think you can get away from something that defines who you are. So I always try and keep that in mind. You know, if I feel like, oh, well, there's an easier out, but it's not right, then I'm not going to, you know, venture down that path. I think it's just really important to be aware and self-police ourselves in regards to the animals, where they're going, the keepers, and you want to make sure that anybody getting one of your animals is in a potential or in a position to have them for the life of the animal. I've turned away some great people that wanted an animal more than anything, but I know it wasn't the right time for them. I told them, you know, hey, maybe do some more research. Let's venture or view this down the road when you have some more space, whatnot. I think just you really got to make sure to look out for the pairings that you're doing as far as the animal to the keeper.
Okay, that's fair. I don't disagree with anything you said on that aspect at all. So I think that's a very full and complete answer to that question for sure. All right, Jody, you ready?
I think so. You might have to read it to me again.
Right. So how do you define an ethical breeder, and how do you ensure that you uphold those standards?
Well, to define an ethical breeder, I think at baseline, an ethical breeder should always put the animal first, which is kind of like these guys are saying. I think that the animal and the health and the best for the animal should always come before money, before anything like that. Like the animal should always be taken well care of. So I mean, basically, how I ensure how I'm a good breeder is by making sure my animals are coming first, that they're taken care of in every aspect of what they need.
Okay.
So I think
So
it's simple, in my opinion. Just take care of them as, I mean, they're pets, right? And then anytime that you would want to like breeding should be secondary as you know to a pet. If it's not the best time or the best interest in that animal, maybe it's old or something or whatever the case, then don't breed it.
oh no, I think that's fair too. Like, they start to have a health risk or anything like that. Definitely not breeding, identifying babies that would have those issues early and just identifying them as pets only. Okay. So following up, like, how would you, like, with the overproduction in the industry, you hear a lot of people saying that, retics are overproduced, and like, how do you think, what would your solution be to balance the supply and demand when we have so many people across the US breeding? It's not a central thing, right? So how would you balance supply and demand, and know that we're doing the right thing by the animals?
Well, I mean, if you can't find good homes for animals, and if the supply, if the demand isn't there, then there's no need for a supply. I mean, keeping people interested in the snakes is a big way to ensure that people are getting good animals, good pets, good friends.
I got you. All right, cool. All right. I got you nailed my follow-ups. Like Jordan's like, or Jody's always short and sweet and bam. All right, cool. That's all right. Let's move on. We'll go to the question. We'll go to the second question. All right, Jordan, you're up. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so I like this one for you too. Like, how are you bringing something fresh to the retic world? Genetics, marketing, customer experience, or even in your case, caging. So go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to bring new and very impressive dwarf and super dwarf cross retics. They're the reason I got into it, for falling in love with my first platinum girl. So I want to chase the bright yellows, the stark contrast, thick borders, stuff like that. But like I kind of mentioned before, I think it's important to diversify. And with that, that's why I started doing the enclosures. They started out from my retics, and wanted to see something different within the industry, a different option, what I believe is a much longer lasting option for people. And so, I think bringing new stuff. I've said before, I love what saltwater keepers do for their animals. You know, you might have a very small fish tank, but they put tons of money and care into it and the lighting and filtration and everything. I'd love to see reptile keepers go to that level. You know, a lot of times people spend a lot of money on a beautiful animal and it's in just a box. Now, different situations call for different scenarios, obviously, but I think that the more we can bring in as far as innovation is very good, and that's what I'm trying to do. I've even branched out into chondro enclosures and ball python enclosures as well.
Yeah, so and bringing that fresh aspect to it and a different, your like even with your caging, I think it brings something fresh into the retic world because it's a different material. It's a lifelong material. It doesn't need to be sealed. So like, the what you brought right there, even with that, even though it's not, say genetics and stuff, I still think that is something it was a fresh idea. It was something completely different that you did with that, and I think people are seeing it.
Yeah. And I want to continue to do that. I do have some pretty awesome genetics. I've got an F1 Kalatoa and that pure Kiawati that the sire and dam are no longer with us. So she's only had one clutch. So for that locality, you got some stuff that can help with diversity and work with others in the community. I think that's important, whether it be breeding breeding loans or whatnot, but working with people so that we do know what the market's doing. We don't oversupply one thing, and we're all building the community together, just like this show's goal is. I think that's very important to strengthen our community, which is one thing I've seen in the last 6-7 years I've been in it. It's really grown, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I do. I definitely think that, the younger generation, like, is bringing in that ideology of what you were talking about with like the saltwater tanks. I think the reptile industry is catching up with that, so that's pretty cool. I like it. So, all right, Jody. So, oh man. So how are you bringing, all right, wait, hang on. Is that the question? No. Bam. Yeah. How are you bringing something fresh to the retic world, genetics, marketing, customer experience, which I'm curious to see because you are less social media driven than the rest of them. So I am curious about your answers on this one.
All right. Well, I don't know that I bring anything fresh to the retic world. I do enjoy it. I love talking to the people, all the animals, seeing people's animals. I love all that. But I do like the personal part of it. Like I go to a bunch of shows, sell cocoa cuts. I take my snakes there, and it's cool just to like talk with the people and all that. Just kind of like one-on-one with people and kind of like just spotted homes for them like that. I think that's fun. I think that the cocoa cuts helps a lot with both of that. I think the snakes help the cocoa cuts. The cocoa cuts help the snakes. And I think that a lot more people could use something like that is for the cocoa cuts. I'm trying to get that out there just for the humidity and the difference of texture, and it gives them something to play in. So yeah, bring that. I think that's probably like a 50-50 I see in the industry of retics, of using like a good substrate or not.
I think, yeah. I mean, so how do you set yours up? Like, because you were telling me about it the other day, like to where it doesn't have to be a full enclosure.
Right. I basically have a planter, like a pot planter that's like that high, like 2 or 3 inches high, pull up cocoa cuts and put a hide in it, and the rest is paper on the bottom of the cage for easy cleanup. And they honestly just go in the cocoa cuts. It's easy cleanup. Just grab it, throw it in the trash can.
So they're going to the bathroom more on the cocoa cuts than they are like on the paper and stuff.
More so, yeah. Like hanging out on it. Yeah.
Here we go. Now he's potty training snakes, man. I like it. So I mean, if you're noticing that it's like going to happen over and over again, I mean that's reality. That it seems easier. I did something kind of the same with my water bowls. You've seen that when it was here, but now my snakes are just going in that tub in that water bowl. It makes it so much easier.
Yep.
Okay. So then, so for you, like, with social media not playing a role, like, do you, like, how many shows do you do? Like, you have that one-on-one connection, like versus like people are showing up because of your social media to, everything about yours is one-on-one. right?
Well,
So,
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have Facebook and Instagram. So I mean, if people are following me on that, but I don't have a big following.
yeah, but how much do you post? I don't see you post a ton.
Not a lot, no.
That's what I'm saying. So like
Mhm.
your marketing is like more like going to the shows. You're that one-on-one person. Like that's the type person you are, and knowing
Right.
you, right? So,
Yeah.
but do you think like social media could advance, like probably push it if you stepped into it more, like leaned into it more?
I absolutely do think that it would.
It's all good. That's all right. Like we'll keep you at the shows, man. I'm gonna have you come like sell everything just because everybody likes to connect to you. All right, Dylan, what you got? What are you bringing fresh to the retic world?
Okay, so oh man, I'm totally drawing a blank. I had an answer in my head. Did you start the timer yet? Oh, there's the timer. Fantastic. So I have a really cool idea for a new display booth that's like interactive that I think it's going to be fun and bring something like fresh and new. I don't want to give too much away on that, but I plan on like building something super eye-catching and awesome as a reptile display. So I'm working on that. And then another thing is I bought a product recently, and after a month after I bought it, they sent me like a follow-up letter. And it was just like such a wholeheartedly message of a review on the product, and they cared and they were passionate about it. And like I got inspired by that. So it's something that I think I'm going to start doing is reaching out to buyers and customers post sale, a month, 2 month. And I kind of do lightly or whatever, like, hey, how's the animal? Send pictures or stuff. But like they sent like a whole paragraph on like, thank you for everything, believe in all us. Like it was nice and it was genuine. And I would like to create something like that for the customers. So those are the two things that like, I guess, I mean, I don't know if it's new or if it's fresh. I don't know if other people are doing it, but that's something that I would like to do. And then just the cool new morphs. I mean, the cool thing about all of us breeders is we all have different passions and ideas and visions. So even if you have the same animals with similar genetics, you're chasing your own specific look. And we all think the look that we're chasing is the best look in the world. And that's what keeps us passionate and driven. And that's what shares that excitement, because, me and Jordan might be trying to make the same snake, but his pattern's going to look different. My eye color will look different, whatever. And each one of us will like our animals for our own reasons. And I think just that bringing that excitement and that joy of every animal and giving every animal a spotlight is just like what this industry needs. Like no animal is just a normal or a wild type. It's like, look at the crazy pattern on this awesome, beautiful snake, and I think that's just the energy that I want to bring. I want to highlight every animal. I want to take the time to not just show you pictures, but show you videos and me interacting with that animal, my kids interacting with the animal, and show you the personality of that animal instead of just like, hey, here's a screenshot of me holding the snake. Do you want to buy it? Like I really enjoy the FaceTimes, as I brought up earlier, and stuff like that, because you can really get to see an animal more over video and person like this guy does in the shows and stuff. That's the best, to get out in the shows and get with people. Oh, that's another thing I was going to bring up too. My favorite thing that I've done is a non-reptile show. By that I mean I did a tattoo convention, and it was the funnest time ever. Going somewhere where people aren't expecting to see reptiles has been the most fulfilling experience for me, because you get people who are deathly afraid of these animals to hold them, to interact with them, and create a new connection with them. So reptile shows are great if make sales, do all that good stuff or whatever. Yeah, sorry.
You're good. Keep your thought going.
Reptile shows are really great for sales and interactions, whatever. But my favorite time I've ever done is a non-reptile show, and I plan on doing much more non-reptile shows.
That's a cool idea. I like that. I really like that, actually.
Yeah.
I like that, and Jody's planter of substrate. I think I might.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I know. Now it's got me thinking. And I was like, man, I'm like, I bet if the cage was right, like I could stack like the cover and then another one. And now I'm like,
nothing gets me more excited when a snake uses the bathroom in the water dish, because like you said, you just grab that water dish, dump it out, clean it, you put it right back. Like, yes, I don't gotta
So
clean the whole
easy.
cage right now. So if you can train a snake to use the litter box, dude, that would be amazing. Sign me up for 10, dude.
All right, Jody, you're up first on this one, bud. All right. How do you establish trust as a new breeder in an industry where reputation is everything?
That might be a short answer for me again. I think it's very
That's
simple. I think being very transparent, answering questions, and being very honest. Being upfront about everything and not hiding anything, and just letting people know what you're about, straightforward, and what you're doing, and that way they won't get any different results. So they'll end up trusting you.
Okay. So, all right. So what it like, I know, like I said, doing a lot of shows, like what's it like with you? Like, are you, when you're educating customers beyond just selling them a snake, I know like, you're sitting there, you're going through everything with them. What's that like, with you versus like, say someone else you've seen, at another table where it is all about just sale, move on. Right.
Right. Well, with carpet pythons, I mean, a lot of carpet pythons get a bad rap because they can be a little bit more temperamental, as a lot of people say. And I tell people straight up they can be. And people that say that snakes are temperamental end up being that they don't spend enough time with their snakes. You're telling people that, you're only going to get out of your snake as much as you put into it. If it's around you all the time, it's going to be friendly. It's going to be desensitized. It's not going to be nervous and, bitey and really reactive right off the bat, defensive even. Because you spend more time with it, it just becomes like a pet, like it should be. So just telling people straight up, like, what to expect if you're going to do either scenario with a pet. If they're not going to spend time with it, or if they are, what the results they'll get.
I think that people have this weird, and it's a mind shift, right? Like, from years ago where reptiles were like this throwaway pet, right? And it was like something you looked at and you poked on a screen, you didn't mess with it, right? But now we're seeing like how intelligent they are, doing testing. So like, what about like when you've been at a table, you ever had any difficult customer like situations or concerns about your animals where it like, you had to handle something that was like off, different, bad?
So I like to let people hold my snakes at shows. Just to get people interested, and it's fun. And this one little girl, I mean, she was pretty small. She like just grabbed it. I gave her a snake. She grabbed it. She squeezed it, and it bit her. And I was like, "Oh no, this is not good. This is bad." And the mom's like, "Oh,
it's always the worst.
Don't worry about it." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "There's some hand sanitizer. Here's some paper towels, or whatever." And so then after that, I started telling kids like, "Don't squeeze it." Like it taught me that I had to tell people not to do that.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but man, sometimes like don't. Or my favorite is like, it's like the first thing that they want to put their finger towards is the head. Let's just say, let me touch. And I'm like, why are you going for the one thing that it has to defend itself with?
Right.
Oh man. All right. Dylan, what you got? How do you establish trust, brother?
Okay, so when I heard this question, I kind of looked at it from two angles. One is from business to customer. So my personal life, I'm a very trusting person. It's caused me to be taken advantage of throughout times in my life, but I learned lessons the hard way with that. But when it comes to a business, you kind of have to stand your ground, and you kind of have to like earn trust. Like in my dad taught me, trust is given and respect is earned, right? And when you're a business, I feel like it's not that way. As from business to customer with my customer bases, basically it's longevity. Time will tell. Time will tell after good experience with customers, making them happy. And not everything's going to be perfect. You guys won't see eye to eye on everything. There'll be issues, there'll be hurdles. But as long as you do the right thing and make things right with that customer, whether you want to do it or not, longevity will show these good reviews and people talking about it. So I'm not too worried about keeping a good image or trust with my customers or anything like that. But the other end that I thought about this question was business to business. in the industry, you know, if you're doing business with somebody or any type of industry, if you're doing business with somebody, unfortunately, I believe that there should be zero trust until there's enough time going by that trust should be built. So if I'm doing business with another, if you know, another breeder, and there's questions that arise and there's not transparency, or there's questions that can't be answered, or anything that raises a red flag, that's what would stop all business for me. There'll be a point in time when you're doing business with another business after, you know, a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever it is, that eventually you will have that trust and you'll never have to question that stuff. But when you are first starting a business and you're doing breeder loans, you're doing this, you're doing that, or trading animals or whatever it may be, the minute that there's not full transparency and honesty, I would step away from that situation, because I think, like I said, you have to earn the trust when it comes to business, when you're doing business with other people. But as far as the customers go, like, time will tell. Time will tell. The customers will be happy or they won't be happy with you. And like I said, as long as you go to bed happy and you know you did the right thing, then you won't ever have to worry about that kind of stuff.
All right, that's fair. All right. So being new and coming up, like, have you experienced any like pushback from like the established breeders, or has everybody been, you know, supportive?
The breeders have been really supportive. Everybody, I'm actually surprised on how much information everyone's willing to share and how everyone's so open about the good things and the bad things and stuff like that that has happened. So the breeders have been great for sure. I have, in my very short time of being a business, I've already made one customer completely hate me, and I didn't. It wasn't on purpose. It's
Trust
all
me,
right.
it does happen. It does
Yeah.
happen.
I felt terrible, but I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. Don't hate
Yeah,
me.
that's the way it goes. All right, what you got, Jordan?
As far as I think you've got to really put your time in, like everybody said, and you got to be open and honest. I think that's why it's important to work with what you love. I mean, obviously, all of us love these animals, and it makes it easier to show your excitement and your passion, which I think helps people build trust in you, because it's much easier to for lack of a better term, sell a product or an idea that's something right for someone if you're excited about it. And then it's not a salesman spiel. It's real, and it's passion, and it's sharing enthusiasm.
Right.
But I do think it takes time. You know, building rapport, whatever. If it's at shows and people see you there consistently, social media, whatever. I think, you know, the longer you can show consistency and passion and the willingness to care for and take care of people, the better off you'll be in the long run. And there's always going to be somebody that's upset or irritated. You know, if you're in any business, that's just statistical. You know, it's going to happen. But
Right.
all you can do is like Dylan said, you know, apologize, sorry, try and make it right, but just try and do the right thing.
Okay. So, all right, what do you think the reticulated python market's going to look like in the next, let's say, 10 years? 10 years from now, what's your prediction?
I think like everything, there'll be ebbs and flows. I've started paying a lot more attention just out of curiosity to ball pythons and other species and stuff like that. And it seems like there's, you know, a 7-10 year kind of up and down. And I think we'll see that, but I'm excited to see where it will go, because there are so many more people that are in this, and either passionate about pure locality and honing in pattern and all that, or morphs, or there's just so many more people in it, focusing on their niche that I've been able to see. I'm excited to just see where people take everything. I mean, I like to play with morph combinations and stuff like that, as well as the percentage localities and trying to make them manageable. But you know, you've got guys like Eric who are just killing the snow game. Everybody's got their own little thing, and I think it'll be great to see everybody kind of branch out and grow the community.
Yeah. All right. I like it. like, so I asked Dylan this, but what about you? Have you, like with the established breeders, have they all been helpful? Have you got any pushback from any of them?
I haven't had any pushback from anybody, at least that I'm aware of. Everybody's been generally quite nice. I really don't have any complaints. I'm sure that there's people that think I'm cool, but nobody said it to me, at least. So just trying to pave my own way and surround myself by people that I view are doing things in a good manner to help grow the community and the knowledge that's out there.
All right. So cool. Last question. This is going to be for each of you, and I'm curious to see it like, because all of you guys are like up and coming breeders. You all have great projects. I want to know, what are you doing to ensure the hobby remains sustainable? And that's going to be sustainable is different than, like just supply and demand. I mean, there's more to it than that. So I'm curious to see what you got, Dylan.
I wasn't smart enough to know what sustainable was, so I had to Google it. And
I love you, buddy. This is why we're friends.
Oh, I can't believe I just said that. That's awesome. I think I talked about this in a different podcast before. Somebody asked a similar question, I guess. And I believe he was asking about competition. And I believe as long as you are passionate about what you're doing and the projects that you have, no matter what it is, anything that you do in this life, forget the reptiles, forget anything. If you are passionate and truly driven in anything you do, you will be sustainable. The minute you start doubting yourself, you start doubting what you're doing, and you're not certain about what you want out of this life, then you're gonna fail. So I truly think no matter what happens to this industry, say you can buy a retic for $100, or you can buy a retic for $10,000, whatever any of that is, as long as I'm happy and my family's happy and enjoying and doing what we're doing, and I get to connect with people and turn someone who hates snakes into a snake lover, I'm successful and I'm happy with it. So I would love to see everybody breeding snakes. I'd love every household in the world to have a snake. I think that'd be awesome. Is that realistic? No. But as long as me and my family are good and happy, then we're sustaining just fine over here, I don't see other breeders as competition. I see them as resources. Hey, you have genetics that I want. Can we work together? Hey, you have an experience that I've never been through. Can you explain me how it went? I think we should use each other to help build each other, but I don't ever look at another breeder as a competition in this industry, even if you had the exact same animals I have, because we are still here to do what we love to do. And if you love doing it, then it doesn't matter, whatever it's worth, it's worth your time and your peace of mind. So as long as you're happy, dude, and none of this matters. That's how I feel about it.
All right. So like, given that you're a newer breeder, right? You've done it yourself, right? What piece of advice would you give to someone that wanted to get into breeding but didn't know where to start? Like, what's that opening piece?
I would say the number one thing for me is trust your animals and trust the process. Don't try to force your animals to breed. Not that you can, but don't don't weigh your animals every week. Don't measure them every week. Don't hyper asphyxiate or whatever on the fact that your animals have to be breeding at a certain time, and just enjoy the animals. They grow slowly. They're very interactive and intelligent, and just enjoy the animal and enjoy the process and the time, because eventually there will be babies. And then when the babies come, that's when you worry about selling babies. Don't worry about selling babies when you don't have any babies.
Dude, it's tough though when you're excited about it. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Been there, done it personally. Helped talk you through it. I think I've talked Jordan through it.
Yeah, we've all
talked
been
with
there.
Jody about it.
It all happens.
I've had plenty of old heads that have talked with me about it. I've been there, man. I get it. All right. Jordan, what do you think?
For the sustainability, I think it's important to do stuff like what Dylan mentioned, going to shows that aren't reptile shows, growing people's curiosity and hoping that can grow into a desire or a passion for the animals. I can't remember the statistic, so don't quote me, but it's like say 2% of the nation has animals. Well, if we
Mhm.
can get that even up to 5%, which is a very low percentage, think how many more keepers there. I mean, obviously it's over double, and there's quite a lot of people in this already. So I think to make the industry sustainable, it's very important that all of us help grow it by trying to do things ethically, be good examples for what we can do, support things like USARK and USARK Florida, and just do all we can to get the word out to new people. I love talking to you guys, do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
But to grow the industry, I think is the only way that, if we don't get new people in it and younger generations in it, then it dies with us.
100%.
If my son doesn't like it, then nobody has these snakes after me except for, whomever I have in place to take them if something happens.
Right. No, I mean, and that's when you talk about sustainability, I think one of the questions that comes to mind, and that you hear all the time, is that overbreeding, how much is too much, right? And in a population in the US of 334.9 million, and an entire, 2% of that has got pets as a whole, right? I don't think that 873 listed, reticulated pythons on Morph Market and the handful of other breeders that are going to shows are really making a dent in that, I don't think that that's the argument for sustainability. I definitely think that there is ethical breeding, and stuff, but the overbreeding side of it, I think I'm with you. We're pigeonholing ourselves. We're not getting ourselves out there. And I thought about this the other day. I came across a video where it said Bentley never goes to a car show. They go to plane shows, right? If you got that much money, right? So now, like, Dillen had the right idea. Go and do a tattoo. Like, where other conventions happen, that's how we get our sustainability. That's what I think is that branch out and thinking outside the box,
Yep. Well, and
So
my last two retics from the first clutch I had went to ball python keepers. That's how I met Mike, as I started interacting with the ball python community. I met some awesome people, and they may never get a retic, but they now at least have a little bit more knowledge, or at least me in the chat going, "Hey, retic," and annoying them.
right.
So I think we all got to grow our portion of the pie.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Jody, what you got?
I don't think we have a problem to ensure that this hobby stays sustainable. I think with all people like you all, me, like people I know, like just being excited about it and getting it out there, like talking to people about it, just being passionate about it. That's very it's infectious, and other people get involved in it and want to get snakes, and next thing you know, they're breeding. I just think it's so infectious that so many people will be interested in the future as well. But I like these shows. Like I said, I like that people hold my snakes, and I think that's a really good way. There's a lot of people that have held snakes at my table that have never held snakes in their life before, and it's a really cool experience. Like they're excited, they know how to feel, and like especially kids too. It's cool. So I think just doing that, doing what you love, like and just keeping with it, it makes it sustainable.
I know. That's how I got you, man. Your first pair. The first time I met this guy, I'm on a plane with him heading to Mexico, and he's like, "So what do you do?" And we got talking about it. And before I knew it, I had him a pair of pure Calatoas, right? Like, so before we landed in Mexico. All right. So all right. So what advice would you give to someone, that wants to get into breeding but they don't know where to start? Like, what would your advice be?
We'll just tell them what they're getting involved in. It's kind of it's a big deal. Like you're taking on a good bit, right? More responsibility. Just trying to give them help them out as much as they need. Just being available to them, I think, is the biggest thing for questions that they'll have, because there's so many questions, right? We've all been there when you're first getting started. So I think just being available to people and helping them as they need help, is to help them get along.
That's fair. All right. If you could change one thing though about the reptile industry, what would it be?
It's an interesting question. One thing about the reptile industry.
I've stumped him. I've stumped Jody. Oh no.
Yeah, maybe it's like, I don't know. I mean, you know, if you're on a podium and you're trying to do Miss America, like, you know, overbreeding. Just try to keep it doing
He's like, I miss America. We're gonna get rid of overbreeding. We just established there's no overbreeding, but we're gonna get rid of it. Oh God, Jody, you crack me up, man.
Being interested and, you know, being the ones being able to help people, we can help them be ethical as well. So I think that's a big deal because they're gonna look up to us.
I like it. No, for sure. I think, you know, with that, you know, being able to be reached, you know, if they can reach out to you for sure. But with that, it's like, are you going to be in it for the long game, you know?
Yep.
Like, and see, and if you're not, you know, like, who are you going to pass them off to? Because if you, that's one of my things. That's the thing that I think is it's like, hey, you know, a lot of times I will tell you, like with somebody who's new, especially like they're trying to dig, they're trying to learn all the time and they're excited. But like, if you've been in it a while, you're like, man, all right, I need at least a little bit of a mental break here. So it's like, let me refer you to my boy Dillen, right? Like, cause he knows, he loves talking. I need a mental break, but it's that trusted handoff. But you're handing up, you know, and when you hand them off, it's knowing that person, you know, what they believe in, what their vision is and stuff. So that, you know, because it's like, all right, especially if someone starts with you, right? Then it's like, hey, there's more people out there. There are more opinions. There's more stuff to learn. All right, look, I'm busy right now. You know, like I'm doing dinner with the family, whatever. My boy Dylan over here, like, you know, I trust him. Here's why I trust him. And here's why you should trust him, right? I think that and establishing that network and building it, I think that's going to be a big one. So, all right, guys. Every one of y'all know what's in my collection. So Jason Philp, he posed this question. He goes, if y'all could sneak away with one of Joe's animals when he wasn't looking, which one would it be and why? I already know Dylan's answer.
I unmuted myself so quick. I was like, me first.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I might just happen to take a pure Madhu female from you.
Yeah.
Just maybe. Well, it's either that or the female that's about to lay eggs any minute. Because then I'll have a bunch of Madhus.
I know everybody's like, you got extras. Let me have one. No. All right. What about you, Jordan? Which one of mine you want?
Well, my first thought was different, but after Dylan's idea, I might have to, you know, follow him out with one of those Madhus. But no, my first thing that came to mind was Joker. I really like Joker. You know, you and I have talked about him in the past. I think he's just a stunning animal. So
I'll get you one of his grandbabies this year, babe. I got Joker's son. I'll give you one of his grandbabies this year.
All right.
Yeah, that. Let me know. I'll send him to you on breeder loan. You can deal with his ass.
I know he's a little feisty, but it sounds like a fun job.
Listen, he laced my knuckle open so bad the other day. I needed stitches. I didn't get stitches. I did the Dillen, and probably what every one of y'all would do, which is duct tape it shut and put a little Neosporin in it and duct taped it shut, and it eventually healed.
I promise you, I literally did that today to my apprentice. He literally cut himself, and I was like, "Get over here!" And I ripped the paper towel, I shoved it there, I duct taped it up, and I said, "Get back to work." Today I did that. Oh, that's awesome.
Jody was just here over the weekend, so he's seen everything.
So many beautiful snakes.
Oh, I know. Which one you want, bud?
I don't think that's a fair question. Just because I'm really partial to the calico, is 100% calico anery. Honestly, that's a beautiful snake.
Oh, wow, I know. I know. All right. What's everybody else saying? Oh, they need Joe's Carampas, 2 of them. You know, I've only got 1.2, guys. Come on, you can't take everything. Josh is taking a Madu as well. Good Lord. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna have nothing left.
No Madus left, baby.
No Madus, no Karappas. They're all gone.
Joe, if you
Oh.
left your house open, you'd come back and it'd be empty, and somehow there'd be a hubcap spinning on the floor or something.
Bro, do you know how nerve-wracking it is to have someone like come house sit and watch my collection? It is. It's not an easy choice. Like it's like, ugh. And now, right now, like I'm leaving this weekend. I leave Friday. I'm gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Missouri, right?
Let me write this down. Where are you going to be? What's the code to the front door?
And I'm like sitting here and I'm like, man, I've got 2 females that are on the verge of laying, right? I'm like, I've got a Karappa female that's on the verge of laying. I got a freaking 75% Madu, 25 Kalatoa female on the verge of laying. And I'm like, and I'm leaving this weekend. It's nerve-wracking. Luckily, the guy Jake that works with us at the shop and runs the downstairs and has been doing a great job pairing and pulling eggs, everything else. He lives right up the road from me, so he stops in and stuff like that. And then we got a friend of ours that also comes to watch the dogs, so I'm covered. But it's nerve-wracking, guys. All right, what was the biggest surprise lesson learned in the industry? Ooh, I like that one. Who wants that one? Don't everybody jump in.
I'll go first. It wasn't a big surprise, but the cost of going and vending shows, especially like I've had one clutch, so when I go vend, it's for my enclosures. But my closest show before this year was 4 hours away in St. Louis, as far as a big show. So I was traveling 4 or most likely 8 or 9 hours to vend these shows, hauling a trailer, paying for the booth, trying to get, the background and everything. So just the amount of time and money invested to try and build the reputation and the face or the, I don't know, getting people to know you.
Yeah, the trust.
Yeah, it's been a great process. I've loved vending every show I've done, but it's a lot of work. You're definitely tired after it. Like you come home tired from vacation. I come home very tired from shows. I have a stupid rule that I don't sit down. It's just like a personal rule. And my booth neighbors always give me grief about it, but I don't sit at shows. And so I get home quite exhausted.
No, but that's the way it's got to be. And I know that we always hear, especially online stuff like that, the old breeders will be like, you want to make $1 million breeding retics, spend $2 million, right? And but there's never an explanation of that what you just gave. Like nobody's giving that explanation of what that sweat equity is, that real financial equity is, that time equity, and then if you're working a full-time job like all 4 of us are, and then doing this after, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things right there. If I was going to take away a lesson, is that we need to get rid of this idea of, our parents' mentality. And that's what I see, growing up, why don't do that. Why? Because I said so, right? Hated that shit growing up. And now we're getting the same thing. I think that we need to educate people when they, because everybody thinks this is I'm going to make money quick. I see, I just bought a snake for $1,000. And so if I just breed these, then I'll make $1,000 every snake. It is not like that. There is so much more that goes into it. So
snake math will get you.
Snake math. It's like girl math, but worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And it tricks all of us at some point. We've all been there.
It's like girl math, but worse, because it makes sense to men. That's the problem. It makes sense to us. Girl math don't even make sense to us. But snake math, we'll justify that shit in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Man. What about all right, Dylan, Jordan? You guys, anything that you want to add to that one?
What was the question again? The biggest shock getting into the industry?
No, let me see. Where'd it go? What was the biggest surprise or lesson learned being in the industry?
Um, I don't know, dude. I'm not too sure. I thought I didn't know I'd have to learn how to spell and write and give speeches on live YouTube shows and stuff like that. I didn't see any
Hey,
of this
you agreed
coming.
to this, bro.
Like
I'm just happy to know I'm expanding your vocabulary.
I appreciate it. I just thought I could be a cool snake guy and do my own thing, but now I gotta like, I have my wife like spell check all my posts before I post them, so I quit posting spelling errors and everything.
I definitely can tell when Alex makes your post versus when you make your post.
or when I'm trying to make a video of a snake and my sandal and my foot's in the video, and I was like, dude, my foot's in the video. I gotta start over. Like being more professional because I'm a very goofy guy. If you come to my 9 to 5, I'm the guy cracking jokes when you shouldn't be cracking jokes. I'm the guy laughing while sweating and working. Like I mess around all the time. And I will do that in my reptile business as well. But when you're on social media, you kind of have to have like professionalism and like presentability. And I'm an outside dog. I'm an outside framer. I don't belong inside. So it was a big adjustment for me to be more professional, I guess you'd say. If you call what I am professional.
All right, Jody, you got anything to add?
Not so much. I was really lucky to have people like you and some other friends that really just helped me along with anything I really had.
Me and Jody, man, it's just funny because we show up together and it's like we talk about it and then we get off on a tangent and then we like bounce right back to the conversation where we were at talking about genetics and we just pick it right back up. We're both on the same page when it comes to that. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Josh wants to know what everybody's favorite single gene is.
Sunfire, hands down. I love Sunfire.
That's a good one. My favorite is Platinum, just because it's what I got into. I love the simplistic Platinum. You know, beautiful Platinum is hard to beat for me, but I also like it because of what it does mixing into other stuff. So it's kind of a cheat answer.
What about you, Jody?
I like anything with an opalescence in it, honestly. It's just beautiful and mesmerizing.
I like Anery. Personally, that's just me, single gene. You know, it's fake. Nobody believes it's real. It's, it fucks with everybody. I love Anery. It's my favorite. Honestly, hands down. So that's like the combos. I personally think that any combo has looked better in Anery. Like, especially if you go dark.
Yeah, well, I think your Anery goes excellent with my Platinum and or Dillen's Sunfire. I think
for sure
the combination of those is pretty hard to beat.
I have an Anery Platinum Sunfire. I have one that has everything in it downstairs.
Me too.
It's crazy. She's like green. It's Joker's daughter.
Okay. Yeah. I have one from her name's Eve from 21. She's a het purple as well, and man, the colors on her and that floating dorsal is just hard to beat.
It's crazy, right? Is that wasn't mine and Nathan's clutch that yours came from, is it?
I don't
remember.
I don't
remember if that was a 21 or not. I think it was 20.
She was a 20.
21?
My girl's a 20.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'll get with you after. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Well, hey guys, it's been an hour. It has been a great hour. I appreciate everything that y'all brought to the table. Like I said, everyone that tuned in, thank you all so much. Mike, appreciate you in the back, running it, making it happen. You are the man, and the Herp Collectors Network for hosting, this going on right here for the Retic Rundown. Once again, guys, go support US Art, support US Art Florida. And I tell you what, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Take it easy.
See ya.
Welcome to the Retic Rundown, where the giants roam and the legends are found. Hardcore, the truth. the wisdom of sound in the retic rundown. We're breaking new ground. From the jungles deep to the captive scene, retics rule the world if you know what I mean. With patterns so bold and sizes extreme, in the retic rundown, we're breaking new ground. Welcome to the retic rundown, where the giants roam and the legends are found. Uncoil the truth and let the wisdom resound. In the retic rundown, we're breaking new ground. Unlocking secrets of the serpentine kings, sharing knowledge, stories, everything it brings. From breeders to keepers, we pull the strings in the retic rundown. Hear the echo rings. Welcome to the retic rundown,